Okay, welcome to Mutual Assistance Group Training. Today we're going to go over what it takes to build a mutual assistance group in your community among friends, neighbors, or coworkers, or whatever. First thing we need to know is what is a mutual assistance group? Okay, give me just a second. I'll see if I can get this thing to do. Oh, I know, I didn't turn it on. It's always fun. Okay, are we ready to try this again? There we go. What is a mutual assistance group, or a MAG? It's a tight-knit group of like-minded individuals pooling their skills, resources, and knowledge to navigate through challenging situations together. That's the essence of a mutual assistance group, operating on the principle of strength in numbers. MAGs empower individuals to prepare collectively for emergencies, disasters, and even the proverbial shit-hit-the-fan scenarios. The core elements of a MAG. Building a robust MAG requires a solid foundation, and here are some key components you should consider. Number one, shared goals and values. Align on objectives and principles to ensure cohesion within the group. In other words, you want to make sure everybody in the group is like-minded. They're all wanting to end up with the same end result out of the MAG. Number two, a diverse set of skills. From medical expertise to survival skills, leverage the unique abilities of each member. Effective communication channels. Establish clear lines of communication to facilitate swift decision making. Resource management. Pool resources such as food, water, shelter, and equipment for collective preparedness. And lastly, training and drills. Regular practice sessions enhance readiness and reinforce the group dynamics. Okay, the benefits of being part of a MAG. And joining a MAG offers a myriad of benefits, including enhanced preparedness, access to shared resources and knowledge bolsters individual readiness. Because obviously you know things I don't know, I know things you don't know, and if we can work together and share these skills, we can all be better prepared. Community support. In times of crisis, having a supportive network can be a game changer. Skill enhancement. Learning from expertise of others helps broaden your skill set. We already discussed that. And emotional resilience. Knowing you have a dependable group that you can rely on reduces stress and anxiety. How to establish your MAG. Now that you understand the essence of a MAG, let's walk through the steps to set up your own MAG. Number one, recruit wisely. Select individuals with complementary skills and shared commitment to the group's vision. You don't want people that you're going to be constantly butting heads with. Number two, define roles and responsibilities. Delegate tasks based on the expertise and the interest to ensure a well-rounded team. Don't just say, hey, Joe, you're responsible for this, because if Joe doesn't know how to do it or doesn't want to do it, it's not going to work out well for you. Create protocols and procedures. Develop protocols for decision-making, resource allocation, and emergency response. Train together. Conduct training sessions regularly to sharpen your skills and to build a strong sense of camaraderie. And have regular meetings. Schedule routine meetings to discuss updates, address concerns, and strengthen bonds within the group. Organizing a MAG. Number one, the location of the MAG and the intel, the information that you have of what may be happening. Number two, establishing values, oath, and goals. What is this MAG going to be all about? If it's just a bunch of guys getting together to drink beer, fine, that's your idea. But if your goal is to protect, say you're building a group in your neighborhood, your goal is to protect your whole community there, then you need to have that defined so that you're not protecting the neighborhood while Joe is protecting his own house. I mean, everybody wants to protect their own house, but if you're part of a MAG, you need to be there for the common good of the group. Leadership model. We'll get into that a little deeper here in a few minutes. Roles and responsibilities of the members. Communication plan or plans. And meetings and group gatherings. New member acquisition. What's the criteria for a new member?
Gotta be something.
You got to have some, because you don't want just anybody to join the group, because you'll find that some people will become sponges, and then when something really happens, they're useless to you. You got to make sure that you have people who have skills and knowledge that will benefit the group as a whole. Okay, who to include in your mags? I've got a few of them up here. You can probably think of some too, but medical personnel like doctors, nurses, EMTs, self-defense martial arts instructors, a welder, mechanic, carpenter, plumber. You know, shit hits the fan, you're not just gonna be able to get on the phone and call a plumber.
No.
Electrician, hunter, trapper, tailor, seamstress. That's something people forget. Ex-military would be good to have, provided there's people you know that are gonna look out for the group. Because a lot of ex-military like to believe they can do it all on their own. So that could
Not
create a
even
problem.
military. There's a lot of people that think they can.
Right. Or I did put ex-military here, sorry. Okay, selecting a leader. Whether you have a single leader or a group of individuals who collectively are leading, there are a few characteristics I feel all leaders should possess. Number one, integrity. A strong leader will always be true to their word, will carry through with whatever actions are needed on behalf of the group, no matter what the difficulty is. Courage. Doing the right thing, regardless of the surrounding circumstances, can be terrifying at times. Having the courage to do what it takes without the fear of ridicule or retaliation will be required at times, especially often while under extraordinary circumstances. So you want somebody who isn't going to be influenced by Joe to do what Joe wants. You want somebody who's going to do the right thing for the whole group.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Joe, if there's a Joe listening, I'm not pointing on you, picking on you particularly, but I'm just using that as an example. Empathy, not sympathy. You know the difference between empathy and sympathy? Empathy is when you see a guy down in a hole and you give him a ladder to come up. Sympathy is you see a guy down in a hole, you crawl down in there and whine with him. You don't want to do that. You want to give him a hand up. You can't do what's best for your group without the ability to see and feel the perspectives of those within. Having mercy in times of peril is, when peril is around, every corner becomes increasingly difficult as well. Empathy will be the only saving grace in this situation. Action-oriented. A leader can only be trusted as long as he or she maintains the ability to take action, and quickly, I may add. The quality of those decisions and actions matter to, of course, but idleness and in leadership are the opposite ends of the spectrum. If you're a leader, you need to be able to take action. You don't sit back and wait for somebody else to tell you what to do. And sometimes you got to take action immediately. You don't have time to sit there and hem-haw and weigh it out and figure out what's going on. You have to be able to make decisions, and you have to be able to make those decisions quickly, especially in survival situations. Okay, we just reviewed this role in great detail, but here are some tasks a leader may have as part of a preparedness plan. Yours may have more or less depending on your specific circumstances. Number one, you need to initiate a plan. He or she will be the one who decides when it's time to enact the plan and will begin the communication protocol. In other words, you'll have a plan in place, say, for, I don't know, natural disaster. When is the time to put that plan into place? That's what the leader will decide.
Right.
Or maybe you have a problem with riots. You may have a different plan for that. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But the leader has to be able to discern what plan to go with at what time. Make swift decisions and or decisions on behalf of the group. Democracy is imperative amongst the group, as well as transparency as well. Sometimes through tie-breaking or swift decisions must be made on behalf of the group in order to ensure safety. So if you're doing democracy and you've got 8 people in your mag, 4 say this, 4 say that, the leader, who wasn't included in those 8, should, or even maybe included in the 8, he's the one that has to break the tie, he or she, depending on,
Right.
I don't want to put it just on male, but, and then your mag has to abide by it. You chose that person as the leader. You need to do what that leader says. Now, there are times a leader could get out of control, and if that happens, you don't necessarily do what the leader says, but you need to communicate with the entire MAG and decide, hey, maybe it's time we choose a different leader. But you don't want to do that in a time of crisis. You need to have somebody as a leader that you can depend on. Navigate and or lead the group when traveling. Hey, my plan is to bug in. Something happens, I'm going to bug in as long as possible. Protect my neighborhood, whatever. But there comes a time when you have to bug out. Say your neighborhood's getting overrun and you're outnumbered drastically, and then you have to have a plan in place for that. And the leader will then take the initiative, find out, okay, well, they can have some help here. It is important for a leader to be leading the charge, so to speak, and to be aware of any and all routes, variables, and ongoing happenings while this plan is in motion. Why is it important to be aware of all the routes and variables? When things happen,
Bridges down.
well, there you go.
Anything.
We had this issue with flooding recently, and bridges are down.
A
Or,
lot of roads in
They-
UP right now.
you know,
washed out.
in times of chaos, sometimes the roads are just closed and blocked off. It's always good to have a primary plan and a secondary plan, and probably even a third plan, including back roads, where you can bug out if you need to. And have a bug out location. Don't just say, oh, when things happen, I'm going north. Okay, where are you going up north? First of all, you need to know where you're going. And second of all, make sure that it's okay with the neighbors.
Yeah.
Because you get up there and the neighbors, they're trying to protect their stuff, and they see a bunch of people from down south or wherever all of a sudden flooding their area, they're going to be awful protective of the resources they have there as well. You know, they plan on surviving as well, and your plan is to go up north and hunt and trap. Well, guess what? The locals want to hunt and trap that same stuff. So if you have a place to go up north, get to know the neighbors and let them know what your plans are, so that if something happens, they will be aware. Because if you just show up, it may not be such a good thing. Protect the group. The well-being of the group and overall morale of the group lies in the hands of the leader as well. This includes protection protocols, food acquisition and or rationing if it comes to it, and when needed, and defensive tactics and protocols, etc. Basically, do everything in their power to keep the group alive and out of harm's way. It says protect the morale of the group. Morale is very important.
Yeah.
Even in bad times, you have to have a good morale, because if you start getting one or two people who start getting bad mood, they could turn on the group, they could turn the group sour, then things don't work well. If you get one or two people that are in disagreement about everything you do, you're going to have a hard time in your MAG. It is important to be honest with each other and trust that the prevailing spirit is where everyone has each other's best interest at heart. There's no place for secrets in a community, and though no one is perfect, a collective intent to honor those in your community will carry you through the worst situations without fail. Start keeping secrets. You know, there are some things you don't have to share with a group, but when it comes to what's the best interest of the group, if you're truly sold out to your MAG, you need to not keep secrets. Like, you know of a little stash here, but you're going to save that just for you. Well, that's not the best, because if everybody does that,
That'd get ugly in a hurry.
or if one person is, they're at the point where they have to ration out food, and one person's getting fat and everybody else is losing weight, they're going to know something's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not going to turn out well for you. Being alone in a disaster scenario is the last place you want to be. It doesn't matter how experienced you are or how many supplies you have. Sooner or later, you will need help from another. Begin the process of including others in your preparedness journey as soon as you possibly can. You'll thank yourself later. Remember, we're all different in virtually every way possible. Expecting someone to think, act, or react, or learn, or behave, and understand, or anything else in the same way you do is just not going to work. Any lasting relationship is built upon one's ability to allow for the other's individualism and unique characteristics. The more diversity you have in a mag, the more well-rounded you are in terms of knowledge and skill sets. So if you pick everybody that thinks just like you may end up in a situation where your way of thinking isn't going to work. So it's good to have people who think differently, but just understand you got to be on a common goal that everybody needs to be doing what's best for the mag. Sometimes it'll be different, like your idea of how to get this job, my idea how to get it done may be different.
Yeah.
But we need to learn to work together. The training subjects for a mutual assistance group include, it can vary widely from group-specific goals and resources available, but here are just a few things. Communications training subjects include survival skills, firearms, I say communication, it's common. I can't even read my own stuff that I put up there. Common training subjects include survival skills, firearms training, emergency preparedness, communication skills, resource management, teamwork and collaboration, training and drills. Obviously, you can add other things depending on the need of your specific mag, but these are the most common things that most mags have.
Right.
Survival skills. Basic survival techniques include hunting and gathering, water purification, situational awareness. What's important about that? I can tell you when I took my concealed pistol license training, that was something he stressed, situational awareness. You walk into a room, first thing you do is survey the room, find out where all the exits are. You look at the people in the room who maybe somebody you need to question, maybe you don't. And then you find a place to sit where your back is up against the wall so nobody can sneak up behind you. You need to be aware of what's going on in your situation.
Absolutely.
Then if something happens, you know where the exits are. You can get out right away. Same thing applies in shit hit the fan scenario. You need to know, hey, can I go down US 23 or I-75? Or probably not, because if you got a bad situation, that's going to be backed up for miles and miles and miles. So what are my other options? Just be aware of the situation, what's going on, what the specific circumstances are with that situation, and you'll find that it's going to be very helpful to you. Self-defense, first aid and emergency medical care. That everybody should know basic first aid.
Yeah.
When you get into some more serious stuff, that's why you want to have the doctors, the nurses, EMTs in your mag if you can. You may not be able to get that if you're doing a neighborhood mag and there's nobody in your neighborhood that has those skills. Then you got to say, hey, who's going to step up and get the training necessary to at least do advanced first aid? Hey, come on in. So we got started a little bit already, but
we're running a little late.
That's all right. I'm recording this right now, and it'll go on my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to catch up anything you missed.
Remember we talked about?
Yeah. Great.
And we got some insulated boxes.
Okay, we'll talk about this after. I've got a recording going on right now. Come on in. All right. Anyway, so these are the basic survival skills of a mag. I was just telling Chris here that not Chris, are you?
Yeah, that's correct.
That is Chris. My brain
Larry,
is,
I'm bad.
yeah. All right. We're recording this right now.
Yeah.
So this will be going on my YouTube channel. So if you missed some of it, which you have, you will be able to see it there.
Yeah.
So anyway, these are some of the basic skills, survival techniques that you will need in your mag.
Yeah. Try and get the chair out so I ain't bothering him.
I think we can still look at the screen there. Can you still see this screen and me on there?
Yeah.
That's fine. Don't mess with it.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it looks like it turned a little bit.
Like I said, that's all right. As long as you
I'm
can
so
see what's
fat
on
I
the
can't even
screen,
sit next to him.
That's all right.
God.
So anyways, these
Well.
are some basic survival techniques that you'll need to learn in your mag. Hunting and gathering, water purification, situational awareness, self-defense and emergency first aid, and medical care. Emergency preparedness training. This is trained how to prepare to respond for emergencies, including evacuation plans and disaster response. What kind of emergencies should you prepare for? Flood. Have we seen that lately?
Yeah, we have in this state, yeah.
Lake Sanford's filling back up again.
By design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, for those of you who are not from this area that are watching this video, the dam burst in Sanford Lake a few years back, and the thing went completely dry. They've rebuilt the dam, and now with all this flooding we're having, it's filling back up
Filling
again.
back.
Okay. What other things? Fire. Have you
Fire.
seen any
Yeah,
fires
yeah,
around the
yeah.
country?
Oh man, they're pretty big.
Nebraska,
Over here in the
Nebraska's
west,
got
they
thousands
got
of
some
acres
right
burning
here.
right now that
Yeah.
nobody's even talking about.
Yeah,
Tornado. Well,
Yeah,
we've seen
yeah.
some of them recently. EMP. For those
Over
who don't
close.
know, that's an electromagnetic pulse.
yeah,
That is something that is basically where they release a nuclear device in the sky. It doesn't actually come down and hit on the ground, but it sends an electromagnetic pulse out, and it'll fry all fine electronics for miles around. Which means your
Yeah.
car isn't going to work, your radios, your TVs, your your refrigerators won't work.
I mean,
Circuit
these
boards.
cars, isn't it just fuses in there, blade type fuses? There ain't no computer. Well, there is boards.
Oh
in
yeah,
it,
there's circuit boards.
Yeah,
and
that's
it,
stupid
it'll
stuff.
melt the wires.
Yeah,
There was
Yeah.
a solar flare.
solar flare.
Solar flare that hit
Yeah,
in the late 1800s. We didn't have much electronics around, but we did have telegraph. It set the telegraph wires on fire for miles. It's just a
Yeah, I can
high
believe it.
surge of voltage that goes in there and it just wipes anything out. If you've got a car that's
Who
built
sprung
after
that on?
1973, chances are it's not going to start.
oh, okay.
If it's built before then, you don't have fine electronics in it. It'll probably work. Your radio might not work, but your car will probably start up and run. I have a generator that
Yeah.
has a 6-cylinder Ford engine in it.
Yeah,
It's a 30 kilowatt because, hey, everybody needs to light up the whole neighborhood, right?
yeah.
It
Burn the wiring
it
up
actually
in
came
it.
out of a school. If it doesn't mess with the wiring, that should start because it's got points of condenser in it.
Yeah.
But if it messes with any of the wiring and stuff for the generator, and I don't know, it's not electronic like today's electronics.
Yeah.
There's no circuit boards and stuff. It's all old technology. I'm hoping it will survive. But solar flare, EMP will do the same thing as a solar flare. War. Well, we know what happened.
We know what happens there,
War, we
don't
need to
we?
prepare for that.
Yeah,
Development of an effective communication methods, including signal interception and signal use in emergencies. Open communication, not matter of how I shouldn't say no matter of how difficult. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention when I typed this up. No matter how difficult it can be at times, is absolutely imperative to your MAG. Most people avoid conflict like the plague. But in these tense moments where deeper understanding and acceptance can occur between individuals, communication plans are as equally important. Having an established process and multiple options in terms of channels. So you've got radios, you want to have multiple channels. We'll say we'll use channel 1 as primary. We might use channel 5 as a backup and channel 7 as a secondary backup. Because you never know, in times of an emergency, channel 1 could be everybody and their brother on that channel.
yeah.
And if you want to communicate with your group, you may have to go to a secondary or a third even. But you put this in place so everybody knows what the case is. If, hey, they get in there and there's a lot of chatter on 1 and they can't get a hold of you, they know to go to channel 3 or channel 5 or whatever your channels are. Let's see, communication plans. I forget where I left off here. Okay, having established process and multiple options in terms of channels, whether it's phone, email, GMRS radios, ham radios, etc., should be part of any group with 2 or more people.
Yeah,
Communications lead. You need to have somebody in your MAG that you're going to say, hey, this person is in charge of communications. Preferably, we talked earlier about find somebody who, number 1, knows how to do it, number 2, is interested in doing it. Because if you pick somebody who's not interested or doesn't know how to do it, that's not going to work out so well. So when you're choosing people for your MAG, you want to choose people who have certain skills. Sometimes, I was talking earlier that sometimes you're in a neighborhood group, you just want to do your neighborhood, your subdivision. You may not have somebody in that group that is really up to speed on that. Then pick somebody who's interested in it and get them some training so that they can know what to do in that case. Once the communications protocol, which should be part of any preparedness plan, has been enacted, you will want someone staying on top of all communications channels. This may include the support of others. You don't necessarily have to do it by yourself. Is ideally led by someone who is well versed in a variety of communication methods. The sole purpose of this role is to be sure that all of the people within the MAG group are up to date at all times, including the leader. Tasks for this role may include information dissemination, whether the communication tree is used where I call Chris, Chris calls Ron, whatever, or whether I call everybody personally. You get that established ahead of time. So, you know, sometimes when you talk to this person talks that one, that talks, by the time you get to the end, you got a different story. So you got to make sure when you choose these people, choose wisely to make sure that they're going to be telling the same information. Okay, whether a communication tree is used or one person contacts two others, where each contact two more and so on, or the person solely responsible for communicating with everybody in this group is absolutely vital for everybody's survival. Keep the leader informed. This includes updates about the group and any new incoming information regarding the situation at hand. If you're a communications guy and you tell this person and they tell that person whatever, and the information never gets to the leader, he's not going to be able to make informed decisions. So if you can't get a hold of the leader right now, you keep trying until you get him. Let's see here. The better informed the leader is, the more sound his or her decisions will be. Okay, communications lead. Again, once the communications protocol, I already read all that. I just got to read this stuff down here. Okay, determine protocol methods and channels. This person should have a thorough understanding of all communication methods to be used within the group, which may require ongoing learning. They will create and share overall plan as well as primary and backup channels to be used while in motion. We already discussed that. Okay, now you also need to choose an asset lead. An asset lead is somebody who's obviously over the group's assets. With any preparedness plan, there will be a number of assets that must be gathered, packed, loaded, and or distributed. The person responsible for knowing the locations of any or all assets, potentially delegating responsibilities for who's gathering what and when the time comes, and also as who may need to carry what depending on circumstances, okay? This is important because as a MAG, you've got to be willing to share assets. If you have a bunch of food, everybody should have, in your MAG, should have their own food supplies. But this person may have more than that person. If you're not willing to share with for the common good, you're going to end up with problems. So if this person runs out of food and this one's over here fat and sassy and this one's losing weight, you're going to have problems in your MAG. So you got to go into your MAG realizing you may need to share. Now that doesn't mean you put everything in one big warehouse. As it says right up there, you got to have a person responsible for gathering the assets when necessary. So you can keep your stuff, your food, your ammo, whatever, at your location. Just make sure that the MAG, the assets lead, knows what you have and where it's at. So if the time comes, they can contact you and you can help with that. Now, I know some people have a struggle with it. I spent hundreds of dollars on this ammunition and you want me to give it to the... Well,
that's what it's about, isn't it?
if you want to have a healthy MAG, you may have to think about that, because if you're defending your neighborhood and your neighbor runs out of ammunition, he's not going to be much help defending you.
No.
You know,
Like in the military.
the other thing is,
You're
talks
all
about when
over
you're
you.
gathering stuff, who's going to carry it.
Yeah.
All right, let's say I have a bunch of ammo. I've had 4 back surgeries. I'm not carrying a ton of ammo. I'm sorry, I'm a big guy, but I can't carry that much weight. So you need to discover that through your MAG. Say, yeah, you know, Joe has this, but Joe can't carry all this. Who's going to help Joe with this? You know, get that all established ahead of time. Okay, the task for this role, the asset lead, may include asset organization. This person will need to have a clear understanding of all assets needed as part of each specific plan. We discussed earlier, plans will vary. You have a plan for a flood. You may have a totally different plan for another natural disaster, say a tornado, or a different plan if war breaks out and it causes prices to go crazy or whatever. Just depending on your situation, you're going to have different plans. And you have to work that out as a MAG, get those plans in place, and everybody know what plans we have. And the leader will decide when is the time to enact and what plan we're gonna go with. That's why when you choose a leader, you guys weren't here when I talked about that, you wanna make sure you got somebody who is able to make those decisions, and everybody in the group has to approve of that leader. So when the time comes, they don't have 2 or 3 different people wanna go 2 or 3 different plans in different directions. To make a MAG work, you have to be on a common goal. Okay, let's see. Asset organization. This person will need to have a clear understanding of all assets needed as part of each specific plan, where they are currently located, and who is responsible for getting them from point A to point B, should they need to be moved. Keeping an up-to-date inventory list as part of each plan is recommended. Asset acquisitions. They will also be responsible for making sure that any or all assets needed are acquired prior to the plan being executed. This may mean they need to purchase some items, which from a cost perspective may need to be split among the group in some cases. Asset management. How to manage and allocate resources effectively. Okay, food, we kind of talked about that already. Water, same thing. I mean,
I just got some of that.
yeah, but again, water's more important than food, because you can survive for almost a month without food. You'd be skinny, but 3 days
eat,
most without water.
Yeah.
So if you have to have water, or you have to have a way to filter the water. And right now, with all this crap they're spraying in the air, you trust the water that's just running on the surface? So
Not too much. That's all you got, though.
well, I have a well in my house,
Yeah.
and when I just had it
There
put in
you
3
go.
years ago, and I had
Yeah.
to put in a 110 pump, so I can run it off any generator, even my solar system. So it's 200 feet deep too, so the water should be pretty decent.
Yeah, that's what I
But
should get off.
what
the
if I
button,
have
get
to
running
leave?
over
What
here.
if I can't stay in my house anymore?
Yeah, then you gotta.
Then
fill
I got to
up
figure out what we
everything.
got for water.
Yeah.
Do you have proper ways to filter, sanitize water? That's important as a MAG. You need to have people in charge of the assets and have a plan in place. If you have to go, what are you going to do if you got to take water out of this pond? May not be the
Yeah,
best
that's-
drinking water, but if it's all you have, you
That's
have to
all
have
you
a
got.
plan in place for that.
Yeah.
Shelter. Okay, if you're bugging out, then you have to have a plan for shelter. It's a lot easier in a MAG because you have several people can help build temporary shelters versus by yourself. If everybody's on their own, some people will have better shelters than others, but it's still better if you have assistance from other members of your MAG. Firearms and ammo. Who's got them? I'm sorry, I lost all my firearms in a tragic boating accident. But some people have them.
Yeah.
Okay, asset knowledge base. Okay, ideally, this person is also very knowledgeable in the uses and the skills required to use any and all assets. While everyone in the group hopefully has some sense of and perspective of using these items, each item being utilized, that's kind of repeating myself, but the asset lead will many times be the most experienced person in the group. Not always, but if you're chosen as the asset lead and you have some assets, you need to make it a point to learn how to use them. If you have special tools or equipment and stuff, not everybody's going to know how to use it, but the asset lead should know how. Probably the person
That makes
who
sense.
owns it in the group.
You got
will
it
know
all
how.
grouped out here, right? And just because you repeat yourself, it's great.
Well, we talked
Remember
about
what you're
too,
doing.
we have to have regular events for training and stuff, and that's why you
Train each
train
other.
each other how to use the assets.
That's it.
With these being a primary 3 roles, I feel the most vital to the group's success overall, you may find that it is necessary to divide these responsibilities up even further. Maybe you have an asset lead and then you have an assistant asset lead or something of that nature. Remember though, it's important to keep tasks clearly defined to only one person and not shared amongst several. Now again, if you have an asset lead and an asset assistant, you can share them between them. But if you try to tell everybody everything when it comes to how to use all this stuff. And if you're not doing it in regular structured training, it's going to get confusing to some people. Some other roles that may come into play are defense or security lead, if not performed by the leader. Food prep. Hey, somebody's got to cook the food, right? Now,
Yeah, I need a better cook than me.
well, then that may be the case where you have somebody, maybe somebody in your neighborhood or your friends group or whoever's in your mag
Yeah.
is a certified sous chef.
Yeah,
You don't
could
know.
be. That
Or
could
just a
be.
good cook, you know?
Yeah. That's what they're
That's
doing.
something important to keep in mind when you're building a mag. When we discussed earlier who to put in your mag, it would be a good idea to have somebody that can cook.
Yeah.
Scouter, somebody who is experienced in bushcraft or is really stealthy, because especially if you're bugging out, you don't want to go from one bad situation right into another bad situation. You need somebody to go ahead of the group and say, hey, don't go this way, we should go this way, and that sort of stuff. And it'd be good if it was somebody who had a little experience in that. Mediator, this is very important. There are going to come times
Mediators.
when tensions will lead to confrontations.
Mm.
There's going to come a time when Ron knows he's absolutely right about this, and Chris says, no, I'm right about this. Now, occasionally you'll both be right about this, but sometimes you won't be.
Difference, yeah.
It would be good to have a mediator to get in there and defuse that situation and say, hey, we can agree to disagree on this, but we don't need this friction in the mag. Because if you have that, your mag is not going to be successful.
That's right.
Hunter-gatherer, especially if you're bugging out, you're not going to be able to take all of your food supplies with you in most cases. You're going to need to know how to find some in the wild. Okay, development of skills for working as a team, problem solving. Sort of discuss that a little bit. If you got a problem in a group, whether it be between people or say we're headed north and this bridge is out, what do we do? You got to have somebody who's knowledgeable in problem solving. You can have more than one person, but again, you need to work as a group. We don't need to be butting heads on that. Teamwork exercises. Again, that's where your training is, where you sometimes just basic teamwork skills. There's a lot of that stuff available for business, for how to develop a team and work as a team. Now, training and drills, you guys are very familiar with that. I know with your groups that you're in, but regular practice sessions to enhance readiness and reinforce the group's dynamic. These subjects were designed to equip members with the necessary skills to work together effectively during crisis and to ensure that the group is well prepared for any potential shit-hit-fan scenarios. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, TJ, how are you?
Good.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's all right, we're just recording right now, but you getting ready to take off?
Yes, I'm in the sewing
Yeah.
group. My son, Adam's mom, Adam's mom,
Okay.
he wanted me to give this to
Yeah, I've read about this, okay.
Okay?
All right, yeah, well, no problem.
Yeah.
I gotta step out and talk to her
Okay,
real quick. I got
so anyways,
We'll take class.
these,
I got a question.
regular practices are important because if you have a plan and you don't practice that plan, when you get in that scenario, then everybody needs to be on the same page. If you haven't practiced it, you're gonna have people doing this and people doing that, and then your mag isn't gonna be very successful.
Turns into this.
Panics, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plan
that's right.
creation for various scenarios. Put a plan in place for if you have an emergency. What kind of emergencies? War. What happens in war? Gas shortages, food shortages, higher prices.
Kind of finding out about
We're
that.
finding out about that right now. We need to have a plan in place to know what to do in that circumstance. What about natural disasters? Flooding, we already talked about that. Tornado, wildfires, earthquakes, hurricanes. Earthquakes and hurricanes aren't that big of an issue here in Michigan. We have had earthquakes here, but not very often. But
Tornadoes and
still,
wildfires.
flooding we're dealing with
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Let's say you've got a bunch of your preps stored in your basement and it floods out. Now where are your preps? They're
In the
underwater.
base- Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So sometimes it's best to have preps in more than one location. I have some in my basement. I also have some up high. So that way I won't be totally wiped out if it floods. Now myself, I live on top of a hill. Highly unlikely it'll fly, but I do have a sump pump, and if the power goes out, I have a backup, but you never know. But if you're keeping all your preps in the basement, and your basement floods, chances are you're not gonna be doing so well. Plague, COVID, SARS, Lyme disease. I put Lyme disease on here because I don't know if you've heard about all these ticks that are being just dropped in farmers' fields, and they have Lyme disease is supposed to be the next COVID that's coming out probably this summer.
They already got the shot for it.
Yeah, exactly. They have the shot for
I'll
it.
be
They
the
want
first
you
in
to-
line for it.
And
Lyme disease coming around.
the Lyme disease.
They're dumping these ticks off everywhere.
I'll tell you what, they're dropping boxes of ticks in farmers' fields all over the country. And these are infected.
Hell are we doing?
These are infected.
Gates has been altering
Gates,
the
yeah, he's
ticks
doing it.
themselves, so they're contagious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I looked
Not
at a
only
map the other
ticks,
day, and
he's been doing it with the mosquitoes too.
oh yeah, he released a ton of mosquitoes in Florida.
Who's the fool doing this?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Well, he likes to kill everybody, don't
Bill
he?
Gates says, I've got a video of him saying, if we do a good enough job with the vaccines, we can reduce the population by, you know,
There he's working for
2/3 or whatever.
working for Buddy up there in Gavin Newsom and the guy in
And
Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, you
Yeah.
know the guy in Canada, he's,
and
you're
it
talking about
was
Justin Trudeau.
yeah, he's
You know-
out now.
You know who his dad is?
Fidel Castro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother
Yeah.
thing where we need to kind of stick on
Sounds like
something.
that.
All I'm
Any
saying is,
Democrat, you got to run from him.
well, all I'm
You know?
saying is, expect Lyme disease outbreak this summer.
Oh man,
Ex-
now that's a new one you just sprung on me
Well,
now.
it's
You know?
out there. The farmers all over the country are reporting boxes of ticks being dropped off in their fields. And I saw a map the other day, and it showed most of the mid-United States. It really wasn't up into Michigan yet, but it don't
Thank
take
God,
long.
but it
They'll
don't
get
take
there.
long to get
They'll
here,
there.
does it?
So your best
Got
bet is to find things that repel ticks. And if you're going to be walking through a field full of
Ron,
grass, I've seen.
Let's
where
go out there with our anti-aircraft, missile.
Well, yeah, but you don't know. They're doing
Yeah,
it in the
what's
middle of
how's
the
it
night, you
doing in
won't
the
see
middle
it.
of the night? Yeah.
It's
But
already been done.
if you've got to walk through
Yeah.
the field, I would recommend taking some
Chris, you
masking
just
tape,
missed
putting it sticky side out, wrapping it around your pant legs and
Yeah.
stuff, because they'll get up to there and they'll get stuck. But
Yeah,
I was
that's-
just
that's,
telling them, I don't know if you heard that they've been dumping boxes of ticks out all over the country, and
Lyme
Bill Gates
disease.
has already got his vaccine set for Lyme disease right now, and it's going to be the next COVID. They want everybody to get this vaccine against Lyme disease.
I got to keep the dog in the house. Then
That would almost be worth it if it works, 'cause I'm told that Lyme disease is kinda nasty. You
My
get it,
sister
it
had
never
it.
goes away, it's like
Yeah.
Oh no,
malaria.
my sister had it and she got, taken care of, but who knows what they're putting in this vaccine?
Yeah.
Just like the
Yeah.
COVID vaccine.
It's not just the Lyme disease. I forget the name of it, but when you get bit by them ticks, you no longer can eat meat.
Yeah.
You get.
Yeah, you get where if you eat meat, you get sick.
I
Yeah.
forget the name of it.
I know what you're talking about. I've read up on it. But anyways, so we need to prepare for this sort of stuff. Community unrest, riots, mobs, protests, gangs,
they're all
whatever.
here.
You're hearing it all. It's all over right
All
now.
over the place, yeah.
You need to prepare for that.
I stand up for Iran. I'm ready to go. That's all you hear. That's how nuts
Yeah.
it is, you know.
Non-emergency activation. Training drills.
Yeah.
Firearms training, first aid, hunting, trapping, gardening, etc. Things that you might need to keep your mag successful. Special events. Picnics, games, relationship building events. Why is that important? Because you want to build a community, a team of people who camaraderie, exactly.
Each other.
That you want people familiar with each other. You want them to be friends, to like each other, and then that way, when you're in a situation, people know each other, and they kind of know what to expect out of each other. How to react, because everybody's personality is different, and you're gonna.
That's old George there can't put them beers down today.
Oh, you know my neighbor. I got a neighbor named George, and he likes his beer, but he's a good guy.
A lot of this stuff we might be too late on now.
It could be, but you can always put a plan in place to how to deal with it in the aftermath. OSPEC, what's that? Operational security. Operational security could be cyber, it could be in your communication. Again, That's gonna be different for every mag, but somebody who, this might fall underneath the communications.
FEMA says nothing, so you're way beyond them anyway.
Don't worry about that. That's,
Yeah.
you don't go around talking about, oh, I've got my new, ham radios and this is my frequency that we talk on, you know, so
Yeah.
you don't go around.
No, you
Yeah,
wanna tell people in the mag,
Yeah.
so that they all know what frequency you're on.
Yeah,
But-
but your OPSEC is for other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, scheduling and organizing gatherings, readiness drills and training, team building opportunities, what and why, resource organization, gathering and maintenance. Why is it important to have maintenance of your resources?
Prepare everything you need, right?
Yeah, keep it up.
Yeah.
Well, if it's equipment, you need to make sure it's functioning properly. Food has expiration dates.
Yeah, water too, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit here.
Challenge
Drinks,
mitigation,
stuff you need,
again.
energy drink.
You're gonna face challenges. If you have training ahead of time on what to do when these challenges arise, you don't have to try to figure it out at the time. Culture and morale, again, we talked about the morale and the team building camaraderie. Okay, frequently asked questions. What sets a MAG apart from individual prepping and training efforts? A MAG emphasizes the collective preparedness through shared resources and expertise. How many members should ideally be in a MAG? While the size may vary, a balanced group of 6 to 12 members is often recommended for emergency. How often should MAGs conduct training sessions? Regular training sessions should be held at least once a month to maintain readiness. Can anyone join a mutual assistance group? Well, MAGs typically require members to align with shared values and contribute effectively to the group. You don't want just anyone in the group, because you always have this one person who's negative about everything, and it can bring the morale of the whole group down. You also got to remember, when you're selecting members for
You
your
don't
MAG,
need
you
that.
select them because of their skills and ability. If you let your brother-in-law, Bob, not Joe, in to your MAG because he's your brother-in-law, but he doesn't bring anything to the MAG, what you're going to find is the other members of the MAG are going to resent Bob because Bob's eating the food and, you know, whatever, but Bob's not helping because Bob doesn't have any skills. And that's going to create a problem in your group. And are there any legal considerations when forming a MAG?
Nope.
It's advisable to consult legal experts to ensure compliance with relevant laws and regulations. But at that point, if you're having to enact your MAG, there's probably not going to be much law and order going on anyways.
Right.
So, in conclusion, the significance of structuring a MAG, a mutual assistance group, cannot be overstated. By collaborating with like-minded individuals, pooling resources, and honing your skills together, you elevate your preparedness to tackle challenges that may come your way. Remember, in unity, there's strength. So, is there any other questions?
Perfect timing.
Good.
Okay, well,
Grab a box there.
with that, I will shut the
I
video
gotta-
off and then we can have our
I gotta head
discussion.
over to
It's good to see you.
a memorial.
Oh,
It's starting at
Oh,
2
my
o'clock.
goodness,
So
yeah.
my
Probably